Hi, I'm Jenny Lesko-Hare. I'm with Rental Magazine, and we are doing our annual Renters Review feature. I'm here in Beloit, Wisconsin with Nick Bauer, and we are going to use this trencher today to make some space for some natural gas and electrical lines that are going to run from the house to this garage back here. So this is Nick's first time using a trencher. Tell us a little bit about the project. What exactly are we doing?
So what we want to do is we want to run natural gas and electric to the garage. Right now I have 110 to the garage, but I have a welder that I want to use that requires 220. And then I also just insulated the garage, and I want to put a heater in the garage for the winter.
Okay. And my understanding is you've never technically operated this equipment before. Have you done any sort of equipment operation or?
I've done some equipment operation, but it's, mostly hand tools, no big power tools like this. So this is going to be my first time using equipment like this. I've never trenched before, but I'm excited to get into it.
So this is the controls of the Barretto trencher that we are using. Nick had to figure it out on his own when he got home and found the machine in the driveway. How did that go, Nick?
It went pretty well. It took me just a little bit of time to kind of read the labels and get a good understanding of, what lever operated what things. So once I had the machine running, the first thing I did is I tried to drive the machine to move it down to where it is now. And I noticed that none of the hydraulics worked, so that's when I realized that I needed to pull this lever to engage the hydraulics, and that allowed all the controls on the machine to work. And then I was off on my way and able to maneuver the machine to where it is now. So in addition to going forwards or backwards, by turning the handle here, you're able to independently drive the left or right wheel, which allows the machine to maneuver and steer under its own power.
Okay. Well, so we're deep into our project now. Nick has got the trencher going. We've probably made about 12 feet of progress at 24 inches of depth, and things seem to be going well. What do you think about the way it's operating?
Yeah, I think once I got the cut started, once I got the chain in the ground, the machine kind of settled down and it was held in place left to right when the chain was down into the trench. So that kind of stabilized everything, and I was able to move the machine back pretty well. My cut seems to be a little crooked. Seems like when the controls to turn the machine left and right, there seems to be a little bias in one direction than the other, but I just learned that I have to turn my hand just a little bit to compensate for that.
Okay.
But since I figured that out, the cut's going really well.
We are done with the project, and we've successfully trenched from the house to the garage. What's your opinion? How did it go?
It definitely went a lot better when we were going backwards down the hill. The gravity definitely helped to our advantage, especially in the conditions that we were in, with the mud and everything like that. We had a little bit of difficulty connecting the two trenches. We didn't quite get aligned, and we had a couple of times where the wheels would fall into the trench, and it required a couple of guys to actually, muscle the machine out of the trench. So a little bit of help definitely was needed in order to accomplish that. But otherwise, we've got the trench in. There's a lot of rocks. I mean, it did a really good job, and definitely wouldn't want to do this by hand.
No. But that issue with the lining up of the trenches is just a matter of the project. It wasn't really a fault of the equipment or anything like that. It was just part of the deal, it sounds like.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, if, more experienced or somebody, if I just would have lined it up better in the first place, I could have been able to line those trenches up a lot easier.
Okay.
And then one other thing to note is I was saying the machine was kind of pulling in a certain arc in one direction over here. Well, when I was coming down the hill, it was actually pulling in that arc in the opposite direction. So I don't know if it was actually a function of the machine itself. It might have just been the topography, and that was kind of causing the machine to kind of fall left or right and make those arcs.
Okay. This only took us a couple of hours, and I mean, personally, I think that the equipment performed excellent. I mean, it really, from an observer standpoint, I did try it myself. As always with me operating equipment, I turns out that it looks a lot easier than it is. But that's not a fault of the equipment. That's just a lack of know-how.
I was the same way when I first started. You know, it took me just a couple of minutes, but you know, once we really got just a few minutes on the machine, I was able to pretty much master it. So
okay,
it wasn't too bad, really.
Excellent. All right. Well, this has been Renter's Review 2019. Thank you. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.